All right, here we go. You ready? So this event kicks off, and I heard about it, and then I heard a sound clip of what was going on with the House Negro girl that goes after President Trump disrespectfully, ambushes him, right? The 45th, because they have no respect. They probably called him Don, you know. They have zero respect for the president of the United States.
Zero.
And then I listened back to it because I wanted to hear more, right? Not just a sound clip. And this starts out that way. He literally walks in. Look you're going to see him right now.
I mean, he gets
Camera
a pretty
8.
good reaction.
You're going to see him right now. Here he is. Put him on the screen. I'm going to click play.
He gets applause. You know?
He's walking. I don't care about the response. I care about the interaction.
But you can tell there are people there that wanted to hear him.
Yeah.
Right.
And not enough, obviously, because the deck is always stacked in an event like this, especially because the entire journalism industry is infected with communists and CIA people.
Yeah, where did all these black women get there?
But here's how I'm going to begin to play. And before I do, by the way, when I say House Negro, okay, it's really a term of a bunch of people who, by the way, I have embraced members of the black community. And I don't speak Ebonics to do that either, all right? I have built a business that half of my client base were black Americans. And I spoke to them like this, you know? I say, oh, your wife just lost her job. It's time to get rid of the $1,100 per month payment on your Escalade, okay? You're about to be homeless. And let's realign your budget. And they loved me. I never had to call out for a business at a certain point. Remember, the reason why I got to half of my base of customers being black American family members, you know why?
Why?
Through referrals. They're like, Santilli is going to tell you the truth. He got our budget squared away. He saved our home, and he went after the bank that literally, because I went to the banks in bankruptcy court and showed the map how the black American community was specifically targeted, knowing that they couldn't afford to keep that house when the loan exploded. And I saved their houses. And my phones would ring off the hook. You see, those are real black Americans that appreciate the attitude that I used to bring to helping my fellow Americans. This girl betrayed all of my black American beloved clients.
Well, they're going after her online.
Yeah. So listen to this. Watch this. Put it on the screen. President Trump is walking in. You don't even get he's walking in to take a seat, okay? The event, and I found out shockingly that the sound clip I listened to was right out of the gates. I don't even think he was sitting in the seat when she started hitting him. And here it is. Look at her. Look at her, ready to go, referring to her Al Sharpton provided notes.
Mr. President, we so appreciate you giving us an hour of your time. I want to start by addressing the elephant in the room, sir. A lot of people did not think it was appropriate for you to be here today. You have pushed false claims about some of your rivals, from Nikki Haley to former President.
Can I comment as we go? You know what I'd say? Hey, listen, Obama 4.0. All right, check this out. I can come and go freely, not just because I'm president. I can come and go freely wherever the frig I want. How about that? It's not appropriate for you to be here. Guess what? I'm going to come through the door. You try to stop me, I'm going to bust the freaking door down. I'm in America. I can come and go freely wherever I want, right? Well, you can't tell me I can't come to
As he points out here in just a few seconds, they invited him there.
Yeah, right.
Invited.
That's hilarious.
President Barack Obama saying that they were not born in the United States, which is not true. You have told 4 congresswomen of color who were American citizens to go back to where they came from. You have used words like animal and rabid to describe black district attorneys. You've attacked black journalists, calling them a loser, saying the questions that they ask are, quote, stupid.
Hey, listen, Obama 4.0. How about this? If you want to reference Obama's birthplace, then why did he put up on whitehouse.gov a photoshopped birth certificate? And that is a fact.
And it's not just that.
It's a fact. You know that, right?
Listen to this. Donald, listen. She's saying that when he calls people animals, because they're black, it's offensive, right? But he calls everybody that. You know what?
I call our employees chimpanzees. Okay? Right? Don't I? And myself included. We're like a bunch of chimps. You know? We're all sitting around grooming each other. You call
me a chimp. You call me a chimp.
We're a bunch of chimps. We joke about it. But what if I said that these people over at this meeting are a bunch of chimps? What if I said that? What would she say? Why are you calling me a chimp? What? It's racist.
Yeah, but
no, it's not. You're acting like a monkey.
Notice how she does that though. It's like black women.
Black women.
Like, you can't criticize. You cannot criticize a black person and call them a stupid or an animal.
Do you know,
or anything?
Do you know
because they're going to turn it into racism.
Do you know what the CIA?
He's going to have this problem.
Do you know what the
time.
CIA did to demonize a whole bunch of people by putting out fake information about Barack Obama? Do you know what they did? And guess what it did? It was the mask, the forensic information. For instance, it doesn't matter where he was born or where he wasn't. That's secondary, right? Pete Santilli, where was he born? Who cares? If I were the president and I published my birth certificate on whitehouse.gov, you would expect that it's not been photoshopped, right? Forget about where he was born. I downloaded the thing 8 minutes after it was published, and guess what? It had layers from Photoshop deeply embedded in the metadata. They edited that thing, and it doesn't even matter where he was born. Why would you put up a photoshopped birth certificate on whitehouse.gov if you don't want any questions, right?
Yeah.
So let's continue on.
Stupid and racist. You've had dinner with a white supremacist at your Mar-a-Lago resort.
Stop!
So my question
Stop!
Oh, man.
Now I'm going to say this. You ready? All of you Marjorie Taylor Greene gaga goo-goos, you all right? Marjorie Taylor Greene's staffer ambushed President Trump by inviting Nick Fuentes to that meeting. And he had no idea who he was.
Wait a minute.
What?
Here's what happened. Kanye West.
Yeah, Kanye West was there. Yeah.
Kanye West called President Trump and said, can I have some time with you? And he said, sure. Come and have lunch with me.
Over. Yeah.
And
I got Milo Yiannopoulos and some other guy.
No. What did Kanye West do? Kanye West brought Yiannopoulos and a surprise guest, Nick Fuentes.
And who plotted that sabotage? Marjorie Taylor Greene's staffer at the time, Milo Yiannopoulos.
Yes.
Brought Nick Fuentes. President Trump is eating French fries, okay?
And
this guy's sitting there.
What did Milo say after it blew up? He said, it happened just the way we wanted it to, right? We did it on purpose.
Paul Whelan's been released, by the way. This is breaking news. Just want to let you know. Paul Whelan, the journalist, this just broke just now. Hold on. Can we go to that? Yep. Let's go to that right now. Yep.
Well, that's going to be another feather in Biden's cap.
It is. Yeah.
Yep. It certainly will be.
Want to bring in Doug Burgum, of course, the governor of North Dakota, former presidential candidate, and your thoughts this morning about this kind of a great breakthrough, hopefully, that we will see today.
Well, Dana, obviously a day of gratitude for the families for Evan and Paul after them being held wrongly by the Russians for this period of time. But I do want to thank you and Bill. I mean, keeping their names alive, keeping their names in front of the public. That's fantastic. So on a personal level, it's a day of gratitude and celebration. But on a larger scale, again, the Biden administration is clear. The reason why Russia wanted to do this deal now is that they think that President Trump's going to win, and they don't want to deal with him. Biden's track record on these hostage negotiations. I mean, you go back just to September of last year, paying $6 billion to the Iranians for 5 hostages. I mean, he put a price tag on every American's head when he did that, made it less safe for anyone traveling abroad when he does that. And then, of course, you know, this is a positive blip, but the trend line is, you know, our proxy war with Russia escalating. And, of course, with what's going on with Iran and Israel, that's also escalating. escalating. And so this is not
They're going to be
making the world
home,
less
and that's
safe.
a good thing.
This is, I think, a great, fabulous for the families, but it's a political move. And why Russia would go now and get maximum concessions from a weak President Biden.
And that we can't answer. And Governor, frankly, we're trying to read between the lines.
All right, let's. All right, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to go back to the thing now. Just one quick comment. Here we're at the 38-minute mark. J.D. Rucker's going to join me at 10 o'clock or 10:30. 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. 10. In just a little bit. Yeah. We're going to have a great conversation.
Yeah.
About breaking news as well and other things. I can't wait to get with him. And he's upset with me because we've gone for years. Like, we watch his stuff, he watches our stuff, but we've never gotten together, and this will be the first time. I'll never forget the day, okay, and this was, of all the stuff that I went through, Deborah Santilli, as a political prisoner. You know I took it well, right?
You did.
I had the Spirit of the Lord in me. There's nothing could bring me down. Nothing. You can stick me in a box, you know. Oh, well. I'm with my God, and I'm fine, right? The one thing that got me, it did, is sitting there while I'm eating prison porridge, disgusting, filthy soup in a freaking tray, okay, with the bologna, you know, a slice of morning beef is bologna, watching the news, listening to my government about how they had released a journalist that was being held as a political prisoner in a different country. And I was literally sitting there as a political prisoner in the United States of America by the same people that were bragging about releasing the journalist in a different country.
Yeah, and you can imagine that
got
upon
me.
hearing this news, that there are some J6ers sitting in prison right now that are feeling the same exact way.
It's terrible.
I remember when that happened, and we were all like, oh my gosh, this is not right.
Yep.
Not right.
Okay, let's go back. So, ladies and gentlemen, Marjorie Taylor Greene's staffer, Milo Yiannopoulos, with Ye, okay, where I don't know where he is.
He's out parading around with his naked girlfriend. She goes in public naked all the time.
He said he should actually go dress up as a female and go box over at the Olympics. He should do that, get some attention. But they sabotaged President Trump. They did.
Oh, yeah. And they did it
President
on
Trump
purpose.
had no idea who Nick Fuentes was, right?
He knew who he was, but he'd never met him before, and he had never sat down and talked to him.
He would have never brought him in.
Right.
Now that you are asking black supporters to vote for you, why should black voters trust you after you have used language like that?
Well, first of all,
You can just leave it there, Sean. We'll stare at the screen.
So, in such a horrible manner, first question. You don't even say, hello, how are you? Are you with ABC? Because I think they're a fake news network, a terrible network. And I think it's disgraceful that I came here in good spirit. I love the black population of this country. I've done so much for the black population of this country. Including employment, including opportunity zones with Senator Tim Scott of South Carolina, which is one of the greatest programs ever for black workers and black entrepreneurs. I've done so much, and you know, and I say this, historically black colleges and universities were out of money, they were stone cold broke, and I saved them, and I gave them long-term financing, and nobody else was doing it. I think it's a very rude introduction. I don't know exactly why you would do something like that. And let me go a step further. I was invited here, and I was told my opponent, whether it was Biden or Kamala, I was told my opponent was going to be here. It turned out my opponent isn't here. You invited me under false pretense. And then you said, you can't do it with Zoom. Well, you know, where's Zoom? She's going to do it with Zoom, and she's not coming. And then you were half an hour late, just so we understand. I have too much respect for you to be late. they couldn't get their equipment working or something
Mr.
was
President,
wrong.
I would love
I think
if you
it's
can
a
answer the
very
question
nasty
on your rhetoric
question.
and why you
I
believe
have
that
answered
black
the
voters
question.
should trust you with another
I
4
have
years.
been the best president for the black population since Abraham Lincoln. That's my answer.
Better than President
That's
Johnson,
my
who signed the
answer.
Voting Rights Act?
And for you to start off a question and answer period, especially when you're 35 minutes late because you couldn't get your equipment to work in such a hostile manner, I think it's a disgrace. I really do.
Let me just ask a follow-up, sir, and then we'll move on to other questions here. Some of your own supporters, including Republicans on Capitol Hill, have labeled Vice President Kamala Harris, who is the first black and Asian American woman to serve as vice president and be on a major party ticket, as a DEI hire. Is that acceptable language?
Okay, and ladies and gentlemen, Deb Santilli, maybe you can answer this real quick. What does Kamala Harris's birth certificate say?
Well, it says that her mother, I looked at it closer, it says her mother was Caucasian on her birth certificate, right?
Okay.
And her father is Jamaican, right? But it is no secret that her father talks about his great great grandfather was a white slave owner, Irish descent, in Jamaica, right? But more than that, Kamala Harris, her father, and her mother were both Marxist.
Yes.
Very out, straight up, and proud of it. And that's how she was
That's right.
raised. Kamala Harris was never raised. Her family was upper middle class. She was not raised in Jamaica. She was raised in Berkeley, California. Traveled to Canada, went to school. Traveled all over the world. Her family had money. They had money. Her great-great-grandfather, who was a slave owner, he got the equivalent of $12 million when he was forced to set his slaves free. $12 million. And so he made his own town and called it Brownstown, right? So Kamala Harris is just like Barack Obama, right? They want to talk like they know what it's like to be a poor black person in the inner city, when really they don't. They were raised with privilege. Michelle Obama, Barack Obama, and now Kamala Harris. That's what they're selling the people, the black community.
Let's continue on. Yep.
Language to you, and will you tell those Republicans and those supporters to stop it?
How do you define DEI? Go ahead. How do you define
Diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
How do you define it, he said. He didn't say, what does the acronym stand for? Okay.
Well, but listen.
She thinks that's a definition.
That's how she defines it. So what's wrong with calling someone a DEI hire?
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
Diversity, equity, and inclusion hire is a bad thing?
Exactly. That
Is
was
a bad thing?
Anybody who's following this whole DEI argument is saying, okay, you guys came up with this policy.
Yeah.
And Joe Biden said when he was running for president and people were wondering who his pick for vice president was going to be. Yeah. He said he was going to choose between 4 black women.
Yeah. Well,
black
again,
and woman is DEI.
Back to the point.
It is.
That she says, Mr. President, let's talk about the elephant in the room. You called her a DIR. And that's bad? Like, is that an admission that it's a bad
argument.
thing?
That was his argument.
Yes.
You define it for me.
Yeah.
What is it being inclusive? Is there equity? Is all of these things, right?
Yep.
So you guys made the standard for it. Joe Biden followed that standard, and he chose Kamala Harris, and she is DEI.
Yeah.
Listen, when Joe Biden decided to step down, I went in. You go into the black communities on Twitter, but you don't say anything because they will.
You know what?
They will eat your lunch.
Thank God it was President Trump, because you know what I would have said? I would have said I didn't ask, what the acronym stands for, and you weren't able to define it. But as you were saying it, your breath smells like Black Panther.
Here's a product that could help you control cravings, burn more fat, boost your metabolism, promote healthy blood glucose levels, lower inflammation, optimize insulin sensitivity, support healthy blood lipid levels, and support healthy blood pressure. Introducing Bellatrim. Bellatrim may be the most comprehensive body transformation product in the world. Weight management is more than calories in and calories out. It's about controlling appetite, having a healthier gut, supporting insulin function, stimulating fat-burning metabolism, and promoting healthy blood lipids and blood pressure. A proprietary blend backed by 6 clinical studies. Control cravings. Burn more fat. Bellatrim, powered by nature. Backed by science.
Sign up for monthly AutoShip and get a big discount. Visit pete.bellagraceglobal.com today. That's pete.bellagraceglobal.com. Today!